Hello beautiful faces, thanks for stopping by, whether you are new or returning. Now, it has been an entire year since I've had my YouTube channel now, and one of the first videos I did was showing you every single book on my physical TBR, and decided that I wanted it to be a yearly thing. It's been a year since then, and I thought it would be fun to make another. Let me show you absolutely everything on my physical TBR. We can see what's changed, you know, what have I read since then, what haven't I read since then, what's new and been added to the TBR since then, like new stuff that wasn't in the video last year and things like that. I just thought it would be fun. I like watching these, I just think it's fun. Could also be fun to count how many books I have on my TBR, so I might put a little number counter in the corner there, and we can figure out, because I don't specifically know the actual specific number of books that is on my TBR, so we are going to find that out together today as well. So let's just jump right into it. Last year I did this by genre, if I remember correctly, so I spoke about fantasies first and then romance after, blah blah blah. That's not how I'm doing it today. I'm just going to pull off random books, but they are on my TBR and we're just going to chat about them. Rightio, so the first 6 books on the TBR is the entire Game Changers series by Rachel Reed, probably more so just known as Heated Rivalry. It is a TV show right now. This is all 6 books. So I'll quickly show you them all. So you start with Game Changer, then Heated Rivalry, then Tough Guy. These are hockey romances, by the way. Then it's Common Goal. Follows, I'm pretty sure it's like a group of mates, I think. Role Model, and then you end with The Long Game, which is a sequel to Heated Rivalry. So Game Changers is like an interconnected standalone hockey romance vibe. However, Shane and Ilya, who are the couple in Heated Rivalry, do get a second book, The Long Game, and they're getting a third book which hasn't been released yet. However, I am very excited for it. Next on the TBR is The Sweet Secret by Teeny Page. So this is in the same series as The Other Brother. I really enjoyed The Other Brother. That was one of my favourite books I read last year. This is the next one. This follows a group of girlfriends, and this follows one of the other girlfriends. This is a romance. I think it has an office setting and a little bit of a taboo element and a little bit of a spicy element, because we all know that is what Teeny is known for. Okay, in a very different direction, I've actually got 2 Agatha Christie books. So I've got one from the Miss Marple series called The Body in the Library. Then I've got one from the Pierrot series, Cards on the Table. You know what I thought could be fun to do? Maybe making a vlog where I read these and maybe tried to see if I could solve the murder mystery before getting to the end of the book. I think that could be really fun to do. I've seen some other people do that and I think that it would be fun. I've just thought, you know what, this is very different from me. This is like crime detective, like cozy mystery, but I just thought, you know what, Agatha Christie is very highly regarded as one of the best writers. I mean, her full name is Dame Agatha Clarissa Christie. Sorry, Dame Agatha Mary Clarissa Christie. And so, you know, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give her a go. Her books are short, they don't go for very long, and I don't mind watching some murder mystery stuff on the telly, so I just thought, I know it's very different from what I usually read, but I thought I'd give it a go. Next is the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I have this on the TBR. I have read the first book and I'm currently reading the second book, Ricochet. So I've got obviously the rest of them to go. So from book 3 onwards. So Addicted, what is this? Yes, Addicted for Now. Then Kiss the Sky. Hothouse Flower. Thrive. Oh, I'm trying to make a stack, but they're falling down. Addicted After All. Feel the Fire. Long Way Down, and then finishing with Some Kind of Perfect. This is like an epilogue novel. So this is a contemporary romance series, good for fans of Gossip Girl. This follows a group of sisters, so it's a little different from Gossip Girl, but I think if you liked Gossip Girl, you'll like these books. Follows a group of sisters, and it's their romance, and it's drama filled. They're really rich, and goes from there. And I'm really liking it so far. Like I said, I'm a little bit of the way in through the second book and cannot wait to continue on. Next is Nocticadia by Kerry Lake. This is a gothic romance. I think this has like a little bit of magic in it. This is a nice, cute little standalone. I've been wanting to try gothic romance, and this is definitely where I have decided to start. This is book 1 and then book 4, because I managed to find these at a thrift store. So Rhapsodic and Dark Harmony, which is by Laura Thalassa. Book 1 in the Darkly Hypnotic Bargainer series. I didn't know the name of the series. The Bargainer series by Laura Thalassa, book 1 and then book 4. I'm going to read book 1. If I enjoy it, I will then go on and buy books 2 and 3. I think this is just a cute little quartet. I did buy book 4 because, like I mentioned, I found these at a thrift store, so I just went for it because they were like $1 each sort of vibes. And so I get these are romantices. I think they might have like a music element to it. And yeah, can't wait to read this. Obviously, I can't wait to read everything I'll talk about in today's video. And as you will have noticed, I'm not really going in depth talking about absolutely everything, because if I did that, we would be here for ages. We have like a lot of books to get through, so I'm really just going to name it, who's the author, what genre it's in. That's really all I'm going to say. Next is The Tragedy of Felix and Jake. This is an contemporary romance standalone. Beautiful Venom and Sweet Venom by Rena Kent. These are dark hockey romances. This is part of a trilogy. The third and final one is coming out this year, which I am excited for, even though I've not read the series yet. But I love Rena Kent. Rena Kent is my favourite author of all time, so I'm just excited for anything Rena Kent, let's be real. Also by Rena Kent, I've got Kiss the Villain. This is, again, part of a trilogy. This one is dark romance, all the things that tick my boxes. Next is Loving the Legend by Kit Gray. This is an sports romance. This follows, pretty sure it's 2 rival basketball players, and I love me a good so I'll be reading this one. Next is Before We Were by Benique Melvin. I think this is another, like, if you liked Gossip Girl, you'll like this. This book is also, I'm pretty sure, set in the early 2000s. So this is so up my alley. Like, I want to read this pronto. Next, I've got a sports romance duo, Courtside and Poolside. Courtside is straight, following basketball, and Poolside is gay, following swimmers, I think. Something water related, because I have heard that there's a difference between like a swimming romance and like a diving romance sort of vibe. Anyways, I got this cute little sports romance duo, which I can't wait to read eventually. Next is For the Fans by Nyla Kay, another book, which I'm very excited to get to. This is a contemporary book, also has an OF element, a little bit taboo. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so this is very, very high up on the TBR list. Next is Pucking Strong by Emily Rath. This is the 4th book from the Jacksonville Rays series, and it's one of my all-time favourite sports romance series. This one is This is a hockey romance. This is, if you know anything about the Jacksonville Rays series, she changes the pairings in every book. So like book 1 is 1 girl with 3 guys. Book 2 is 1 girl, 1 guy. Book 3 is 1 girl, 2 guys. And then this is 2 guys, this one. So it's like the pairings change. So it's really interesting. You can definitely find you can definitely find what kind of pairing suits you if you get into this series. But I love this series and highly recommend it to anyone who's into sports romance, because so worth it. Next, I've got another thriller, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I have heard nothing but good things. This is a thriller that practically the entirety of BookTok has read, except for me. So I need to get on this. Next, I've got The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Ashley Poston writes contemporary romance, but she always adds a magical realism element to them. I'm pretty sure this was her first ever book, and I really want to get to it. I also have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is her 3rd book, and this one's like a girl who somehow ends up in the fictional town of a favourite romance novel. So this sounds intriguing. And lastly, for Ashley Poston, I also have Sounds Like Love. This is her latest release. The magical realism element is like you get like a melody in your head, and then like the MMC hears the same one or something along those lines. But I love Ashley Poston because I really enjoyed the 7 Year Slip, so I can't wait to read these. I have 3 Emily Henrys on the TBR. Funny Story is probably the one that I am the most intrigued by, but I do also have both Book Lovers and People We Meet on Vacation. People We Meet on Vacation is probably going to be the one that I read first because I really want to watch the movie, because the movie is out. But then I will drive at some point into Book Lovers and to Funny Story. Next I have, this is Save Me, Save You. Apparently these are young adult, but this is also a Prime Video television show. I have heard that these are translated from a different language. I think they were like German originally or something along those lines. This sounds, look, it's up my alley. It's also different for me because I don't read a ton of YA stuff. However, this is like rich school, rich people problems. It was kind of giving Gossip. Look, I'm very into anything that's giving Gossip Girl, and this was kind of giving Gossip Girl, so I wanted to read this. And this is only a trilogy, so it's these 2 and it's one other. Next is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is in the same series as Bride, and I really enjoyed Bride. Next is Jade City by Fonda Lee. When I finally read this, it will be my first ever high fantasy, so something that is not a romance. I have heard there's like a tiny element of romance in this, but not enough to call it a romance. Like, people call this high fantasy, no one calls this a romance. But this weirdly actually sounds up my alley because it involves the mafia, and it's an urban fantasy with an Asian inspired universe. Like, I just knew that if I was going to try a high fantasy, this was 100% going to be the one I read. Next is Falling Hard for the Royal Guard by Megan Clawson. This is for fans of Red, White, Royal Blue. I've heard that this is like Red, White, Royal Blue, but make it straight. And I love Red, White and Royal Blue, so I want to read this one. Now I've got the Dirty Version by Turner Gable Khan. This is a cute little tiny book, and I love cute little tiny books. Then I have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Yeah, Sally Thorne. I don't know why I thought I said that wrong. Anyways, this one was turned into a movie. This is like a romance classic. Like, how have I not read this yet? Because, you know, it got turned into a movie, but like years ago. So I want to read this, and then I want to watch the movie because I've not watched the movie either. Now I have 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, a romance that was a part of Reese Witherspoon's book club. So I thought, why not? I'm going to give books that have come from Reese Witherspoon's book club a second chance, because I wasn't the biggest fan of one of the other ones I tried. But this one's a romance, and the other one I tried wasn't a romance. So I thought, you know what? Probably going to like this one a lot better. Now I have a small little manhwa stack. So these are the first 3 volumes of The Big Apple. This sounds like, it just sounds so awesome, and I want to read these, and I love manhwa, so we're going to be reading these. I also have the first 2 volumes of Wet Sand, another one that just sounds really cool. I read the back. I originally had this saved on my Amazon, and then I went to a bookstore one day and they had copies, so I got the first 2. I love a manhwa, so like, we know I'm reading these. By the way, these are all BL manhwas. I should have said so. And lastly, for the manhwa, I have the first volume of Painter in the Night. Oh yeah, dark romance. I am reading, I'm sorry. A dark romance about a painter who refuses to paint and a nobleman who will do anything to make him. That alone, I was like, oh, you're coming with me. You are coming with me, mate. And we're reading this. Next, I have the only books that I'm not going to pull down today, because it's a lot of them. It's like an entire series, and I don't want to mess up like where I've got it placed, but I do have the entirety of Zodiac Academy, not like the spin-offs, not like Darkmoor or Ruthless Boys or anything like that, just the like the OG 9 Zodiac Academy books. But I have those on my TBR. I really want to get into Zodiac Academy this year, so we are like 100% reading that this year. And I got them off of Amazon. I wanted to get them off of Amazon because I really dislike the new covers. They're coming out with new covers and I hate them. Like, hate them. So I knew I wanted to get the OG covers before that was no longer possible. Next is Limerence by Scarlet Drake. This is in the same series as Hamritia. Hamritia was literally my favourite book of last year. So, yeah, you best believe I'm reading this one. I have 3 books from Ali Hazelwood on the TBR. So I've got Deep End. I also have Love on the Brain. And I have Problematic Summer Romance. I know with this one, you're supposed to read Not in Love first, but I don't own that one physically just yet. But I am still going to make sure that I read that one first. So I won't read this one like just yet. Like I'm probably going to read these 2 first. Next is Fake the Rules and Break the Game by Julia Jarrett. These are the first 2 books in the Vancouver Tridents series. This is a baseball romance series, so when I feel in the mood for a sport romance, but I don't want it to be hockey, I can pick these up and they're not that long either. Next is an entirely completed BL manga series, 10 count. There are 6 volumes of this. So I'll try and fan these out. So yeah, there are 6 volumes of this. I got this as a deal bundle on Depop, which is why I have them all, even though I've not really started. Look, back in the day I was very like, I'd buy the whole series, even though I hadn't started yet. I'm trying not to do that anymore. So again, speaking of series, I have the whole thing of, even though I haven't started, this is the Hockey Gods series by S. Massery. It is a dark hockey romance series. Brutal Obsession is the first book. Devious Obsession book 2. Twisted Obsession book 3. Fierce Obsession book 4. And Secret Obsession book 5. Next is Minx by Sophie Lark. Sophie Lark is a very well-known dark romance author, but I'm pretty sure that Minx is like one of her only contemporaries that she's done. Next is Soul Survivor by Candice Wright. So this is a dark romantic thriller. I have 2 C.E. Ricky books, so they're MM. I've got Never Will I Ever and Don't You Dare. Yeah, Don't You Dare. I didn't know which one I was holding, if one was in the wrong hand or something along those lines. Yeah, so MM romances. I think they're sports romances set in college. Next is Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. Oh, I've not taken the price off of this one yet. This is a dark romance. It is set in the same universe as Haunting and Hunting Adeline. So if you've read specifically Hunting Adeline, there's like letters from this girl called Molly. And this is Molly's story. It's a cute little short one, but yeah, Molly's book. Next, these are not my personal books, but it is on the TBR because I'm borrowing it from a friend because I would like to read it eventually. This is the His Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman. These are fantasies. Now, this is another like high fantasy, and even though earlier I spoke about wanting Jade City to be the first like high fantasy, I'm very interested in reading this series because I really like the TV show, and as a child I really liked the movie. I've hence found out that novel lovers thought that that movie was terrible because it was I don't know, as a kid I really enjoyed watching the movie, and the movie is called The Golden Compass and Nicole Kidman's in it, and I really liked it. I know that people who've read the novel do not like the movie because apparently they got so many things wrong from it. But I really enjoyed it as a kid, and I haven't read the books yet. And then later, a couple of years ago, they came out with a television show. I really enjoyed the television show. So I finally want to read the books. But these are not mine. These are a friend of mine's, and I've got to return it when I'm done. Next, I have the first 6 volumes of Haikyuu. This is a sports manga. I'm getting the omnibuses because Haikyuu I think have like 47 volumes total, and omnibuses are like 3 volumes in one sort of vibes. And so because I know it looks like we're only holding 2, but these are actually the first 6. Next I have a dark romance trilogy. It is Why Choose. It is following the Irish Mafia. So this is Wolf. Yes, Wolf. Rush, and Sully. Next I have the ultimate. If you liked Gossip Girl, read these. Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, and then Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. So these are the next 3 in the Magnolia Park's universe. I have read the first 2. These 3 are the ones that I'm still yet to read. That is everything on the physical TBR that wasn't on my physical TBR cart, because I have a TBR cart, but the TBR cart is overflowing. So everything that I've just shown you up until this portion of the video is overflow. So it's TBR of mine, but it wouldn't fit on the cart because my TBR cart is already completely full. Now I'm going to show you everything that is on the TBR cart. I tried to pull the cart close to me because I'm going to show you a book and then put it directly back onto the cart, because I've already got like this massive pile of books that need to go away. First is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I got this as a gift for Christmas. I think this is meant to be one of those like cozy romantasy books, or it might not be a romantasy, but it's like it's a cozy fantasy. Next is We Love You Bunny. This is the sequel to Bunny, which I actually surprisingly really enjoyed last year. When I read this last year, not this, like when I read Bunny last year, it was very different for me because it was a thriller, even had a little horror element to it, and I was so surprised by how much I liked it. I've got Frida McFadden, The Crash. This is a thriller. And I have Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver, which is a dark romantic comedy. I've got a tiny little YA stack. So I've got Picking Daisies on Sunday by Liana Cincotti. If I Stay by Gail Forman, because I loved the movie. Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. Nicola Yoon is my all-time favourite young adult author. Not necessarily my all-time favourite young adult like book, but like author who consistently writes really great young adult stories, Nicola Yoon. And then I have Wrong Answers Only by Tobias Madden. This one is an young adult book. This is like a guy who goes on a cruise with his family and meets a guy, and it goes from there. Speaking of cozy fantasies, cozy romantasies, I have 2 of the Emily Wilde's books. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and then Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. A bunch of contemporary romances in this section. So I've got Party a World by Abby Jimenez, Meet Me at the Lake, Carly Fortune, The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood, Eat Your Heart Out by Victoria Brownlee. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. It could be Brownlee. It actually probably is Brownlee, but it kind of looks like you. I can't read that writing. A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. The Strawberry Patch Pancake Bakehouse by Laurie Gilmore. I love this series. This is the 4th book in the Dream Harbour series. I've read the first 3, so I can't wait to go on and read this one. This is Would You Rather by Alison Ashley. This was a bit of a tighter buy because it's a book called Would You Rather, but I read the back and was like, no, I would read this. But it's just like one of those that I haven't heard like a ton about. But enough to get traditionally published because I did buy that from Dimmicks. So, you know. Not Another Love Song, Julie Soto. I have been dying to read a Julie Soto book, so I must. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I also have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren because Christina Lauren is another author that I'm dying to read something from. Now for a tiny little general fic lit fic section. So this is the Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop by Takuya Asakura. And it's like cute, short and sweet, so I know I'm gonna love it. Then I have The Convenience Store by the Sea by Sonoko Machida. This is another Japanese translated one. I've discovered with like lit fics and things, I like the Japanese translated ones. They're my favourite. They're just so wholesome and nice and make me feel happy when I read them in comparison to some other ones. Even though I am about to show you a couple of Western ones, but I mainly enjoy the Japanese translated ones. They're like my favourite. I've got The Wedding People by Alison S. Batch. Now this is actually going to get read this month because, good news, my book club has started again. So me and a couple of mates had a book club about a year ago. We did it for a good like 4 or 5 months. Then it died down. It just, I don't know, it just died down. It fizzled out. I was disappointed by it, but I don't think the other girls were that disappointed by it. I don't know. Anyways, my friend is halfway through this book and then was like, oh, I missed the book club. And I was like, I missed the book club too. So we've got the book club back up again and we're reading this one. I just thought, fuck it, my friend's already halfway through it. And she's a bit of a slower reader, so I didn't want to like pick a different one, you know. So I just thought, you know what, we're going to read this and I think it could be really fun. Then I have Normal People by Sally Rooney, and then I have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now I have a little bit of a BL manga section, and this is everything that's done by Sublime specifically. First 3 volumes of Candy Colour Paradox. The first 3 volumes of Given. I'm pretty sure it is all 3 volumes of Birds of Shangri-La, considering volume 3 is significantly thicker than the first 2. More Love Nest, because I did read the first volume last year and loved it. So this is Love Nest volume 2. Then I have the first 2 volumes of Love Nest second. I have the first volume of Jealousy. And I have the first 2 volumes of The Dragon's Betrothed, which these have a fantasy element to them. Now a random section because I'm doing one side of the top shelf, and if you've like maybe seen anything on here or TikTok, my top shelf, I try and organize my TBR cart by genre, but my top shelf is just by height, so anything that is too large and won't fit in the middle shelf or the bottom shelf, because the top shelf doesn't have anything above it, so I can have like the really tall books in there, for example, like Time of My Life or Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. This is way too big. It would not fit on any other shelf. Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomons. This sounds really, really cute. It's like a guy that does the weather, no, a girl who does weather on the news and a guy that does sports on the news getting together. Next, I was able to create a little thriller section. So I've got Strange Pictures and Strange Houses by Yuketsu. These are Japanese translated thrillers, and they also have like pictures in them. For example, Strange Houses uses a lot of floor plans to help you figure out how the book is going to go. If you see there, that is a picture of a floor plan. Another Frida McFadden, because I love Frida McFadden. I have The Boyfriend. This one sounds really, really cool. It's like this boyfriend is like well known for like killing his dates, and she's just recently started getting on the dating apps, which is probably not the world's most safest decision. Then I've got Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Sorry, is this Alice Feeney? Yes, this is Alice Feeney. Sorry, yes. Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. And then I have a classic, which I cannot believe I've not read nor seen the movie for, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is a classic. It's a movie, and I want to read this so I can go ahead and watch the movie. Next, I have a little fantasy section. So I have Phantasma and Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. These sound really up my alley. These are like older, spicier versions of like more mature like Caraval. I've got no interest in reading that, but I definitely have interest in reading these. This sounds really cool. This is like a girl that goes into these games and trials to save her sister because she believes her sister has entered into these. And then this is the book and it follows that sister. Then I have the Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole, and this sounds so cool. I think there might be pirates in this or something or other, and it's definitely like badass FMC vibes, and I really need to read this. I have heard nothing but good things about this. I have City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare because I really want to get into the Cassandra Clare universe, the Shadowhunters universe. I really liked the Netflix show, and I know it got cancelled after 4 seasons, but I really, really liked the Netflix show. And this obviously isn't everything in the universe, because obviously I'm trying not to do that anymore. But this is a part of a series, and I found both of these at a thrift store, so I got them. I have 3 general fictions. I have the Full Moon Coffee Shop by Mai Mokazuki. This is another one of those Japanese translated ones. This is All the Beautiful Things You Love by Jonathan Siedler. This has like maybe like a romancy subplot, but it's very much like how to deal with a breakup. Then I have The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. This sounds so good. So this is a gay guy who, I'm pretty sure his brother passes away and the brother's wife, and he's left to take care of their kids. I do also have The Guncle Abroad, which is the sequel, but I'm a little annoyed because my copy of this is small. Like, this is a regular, normal sized book, but then The Guncle is one of those larger sized books, so that actually really annoys me. I love like my series to match. Like, not every book I own has to be the entire same height, but every book that belongs to the same series needs to be the same height. I am a little anal about that. Next, I have a dark romance trilogy. This is the Forsyth University series, and basically with the Forsyth University series, she is releasing like a bunch of different trilogies, but they're all a part of the same universe. So the first trilogy that you start with is the Lord's trilogy, and this is the Lord's trilogy. Dark, why choose romances, very up my alley. Like, I am reading these. I think it's definitely no surprise I don't want to read these. Next I've got Drop Dead by Susie Chu, and I have The Blanket Cats by Koshiyoshi Sugamatsu, and I have The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I really wanted to read another Casey McQuiston book considering I love Red, White and Royal Blue so much. Totally forgot that I have one last Sublime book, but it's just a standalone, which is called Jackass. Then I also have the first volume of Love is an Illusion. This is an Omegaverse manhwa, and I love me some Omegaverse. Speaking of Omegaverse, I have the first volume. This was originally meant to be a standalone, but it did really well, so she's making a second book. It's called How to Deal When Your Intimidating Neighbor is Actually an Omega. And lastly, I got the first volume of Food Wars. This is it. There's no more manga in today's haul. This is the last one. First volume of Food Wars. Next is The Rules of Royalty by Cale Dietrich. This is another for fans of Red, White and Royal Blue. And we all know I loved Red, White and Royal Blue, so this is cute. This is another romance. Has that royalty element to it, so yeah. Next I've got The Body Check by Elle Kennedy. This is a standalone hockey romance. I think she wrote this like ages ago, like way before she even wrote Off Campus, because this is just a standalone. I mean, I could be wrong. She could have written this after, but I'm going to predict and think that she probably wrote this earlier than that. Then I've got The Sweet Talker by Gina Azzi, another quick small one. This is book 1 in a 9-book hockey romance series. But if they're all small and tiny like this one, I will happily read all 9 of them. Next is Grumpy Darling and Rival Darling. So these are YA hockey romances. Unsteady and Unloved by Peyton Corinne. These are hockey romances again. These ones, I am told, have a little bit more of an emotional depth to them. I have Collide, Spiral and Revolve by Bal Cabra. These are 3 books, a part of a 4-book quartet hockey romance series, which I have decided, because I wanted to read these, but then I thought the 4th and final book comes out in August. I'm going to wait until August, and then I'm going to binge read all 4 of them. Next, I have 4 books in what I thought was originally going to be a sports romance series, but I think it might just be a college romance series, because the first book is called Trouble, and this has like a sporty element to it, considering he's holding a football. And so I thought that maybe this was going to be a football romance series, because the second book is called Fragile, and again, he's in a sports romance, he's in a football uniform. She's a cheerleader. However, the third book is called Pieces. This one has no indication that it's going to be a sports romance. And the fourth book is an book, and it is called Riptide, which again gives no indication that it could be a sports romance book. This one's actually giving an indication that it might follow some of the staff at this college. Like, it might be two of the teachers, or maybe it'll be a taboo element and it'll be a teacher and a student. So I originally thought this was going to be a sports romance series. I think this might just be a like a college, like romances set at college. Some of them are sporty, not all of them will be. This is by Megan Holly, and I have huge interest in this. I've got Cross the Line, Simone Saltani. This is an F1 romance. Offside, Avery Keelan, another hockey book. First Positions by Melanie Hamrick, which is a ballet romance. And lastly, Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, which is a basketball romance. I have The Pucking Wrong Number and The Pucking Wrong Guy by C.R. Jane. These are dark hockey romances. Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. This is the sequel to Lights Out. I very much so enjoyed Lights Out, so I really want to read this one. This is a part of a dark romance series. Lights Out is known as a dark romantic comedy, but I have been told that this one is not funny. So, like, a mixture. I think a lot of people assumed that this was going to be an entirely dark romantic comedy series, like Bryn Weaver's Ruinous Love trilogy was. But I actually like that the Vessa goes, I'm not just going to fit into a box that you want me to fit into. Lights Out was comedic. That was awesome. But this one won't be. Obviously, she's not said that, but I'm going to assume so, considering, well, Lights Out was funny, but this one I've been told is not. I'm cool either way. The issue is I've seen some people read Caught Up, and then they give it a low rating, and they didn't like it because they're wondering where the comedy is, and it's like, I think you need to go into it not expecting comedy, and you will have a better reading experience. Next, I've actually got two more books by Sophie Lark, Grimstone and Monarch, dark romances. I'm pretty sure these are also set around the Halloween time. Praise by Sarah Kate. This is one of the oldest books on my TBR. I've had this for years. But the issue is I bought this around the same time as I bought a different series that have similar tropes, and I didn't like that series. So I've been putting this one off. This is heavily involving like a sex club, and that series I didn't like, and involves a sex club, and so I've just been putting this one off. Like, I want to read it, but I've just been like a little bit scared to read this one because I fear I may not be for me. I don't know. Lastly, the final two books are Her Soul for Revenge and Soul of a Witch, which are sequels in the same series as Her Soul to Take, because I loved Her Soul to Take. These are dark romances involving demons. Well, that is it. You'll see in the corner there how many books are on the TBR. I don't know because I'm counting as I'm editing, not counting as I'm filming. But yep, that is it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribe down below. If there's anything that you're like dying for me to read, put it in the comments below. I'd be interested to know. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Bye guys.